Welcome to the world of Meg's mysteries. Open the door to suspense and thrillers, ghosts and the unbelievable. Take a journey to the unknown. Let me take you along for the mysteries. Let them unfold for you.
Welcome back to Meg's Mysteries. This story is called Brighton Beach Murders. It's a cool morning here in Brighton Beach, Brooklyn, New York. Taking our morning constitutional, Brenda and her dog Max and we discover a horrible sight. We called in the police to investigate, and also our dear friend, Philip Marlowe. Yes, the famous PI. And he met us at the scene. All roped off and police and detectives holding the crowd back, and they're gathering around fast. Philip gets here in record time. His office is not too far from the scene. A lady wrapped up in seaweed on the beach, in a polka dot bikini and a red velvet ribbon with a cross around her neck. Philip sees that it had cut right into her neck, possibly how she was murdered, or put on after to throw off the police how she was really murdered. We were questioned and let go, and will go later to the station to make our official report. We didn't see anyone around at the time, and it is a well-known area, but maybe she was dumped in the early hours or late at night. Body was positioned like she was wrapped in a seaweed blanket. Philip is in good standing with the department and has helped on many complicated crimes. He'll also work on this one, using his contacts here and abroad. Brighton Beach has many Russian immigrants with their businesses and families here. It's a perfect place for a summer vacation. The Atlantic Ocean, amusement parks on Coney Island, and Manhattan Beach. There's always a crowd here in the summer, and the summer has just started. The place is filling up fast with tourists, and now it seems a murderer is here too. Philip will keep us informed as much as he can, I being a reporter and Brenda my partner for the Brighton Beach Gazette, a tourist newspaper. 3 days later, another victim is found at Coney Island on the famous Golden Carousel. A woman sitting on a horse, dressed in short shorts with a red ribbon and a cross around her neck. Sound familiar? Now two with the same style, both red ribbons to cover their killing wound, in a close area to each other. This is not only a connection, but the only one we have. The police are keeping it under wraps. Philip is there firsthand to see it all. He was called in and only told us in confidence, knowing we'll keep it to ourselves. The third murder victim the next week, on a naturalist beach, walking distance from central Brighton. A nude beach can be found about a 1 mile walk east of Brighton Pier toward Brighton Marina. The nude body was just laying out like she was sunbathing. The only thing on her was a towel and a red ribbon necklace with a cross, covering the killing wound, just like the others. A 6th serial killer is loose, and 3 dead at their hands. But it looks like they've been doing this before. Philip remembers his old friend and fellow sleuth, Hercule Poirot, who had a case in London that was never solved, very similar, if not the same M.O. as these killings. Women found with a red ribbon and a cross around their neck to cover the wounds left behind by a garroted wire. What a horrible way to die. And they were never found. Murderer is still on the loose. Philip called his dear friend and asked for help. Hercules and Hastings, his associate, will be flying into New York as soon as possible. Hercules says, "Well, we'll stop this killer together. I'll also call in Sherlock and Watson. You know he's not dead, but in a hidden retreat. The paper said he was killed with Moriarty, but that was a false story. A way to hide from the world for a while. But I know they both want to see this case closed too. He was involved with our murderers here. Now 3 of the best investigators and their partners will solve the Red Ribbon murders together. Philip Marlowe, Hercule Poirot, and the famous Sherlock Holmes. Philip also called his dear friend Miss Marple. She's declined. "Sorry, but I'm too old to travel, but I will assist from here. Update me on all information. I will do my best to help. But I'm old, but my mind is still sharp as ever. Tell the others hello and good luck from me." Holmes and Watson arrive at the same time as Poirot and Hastings. They all met at Philip's office and get acquainted with all the new information. They'll all be staying at the hotel, the Park House Hotel, a few blocks from Philip's office and apartment. The murders in southern London, 47 miles on the seaside resort, at a London beach resort and hotel, where 5 women with the same red ribbon and cross found on each victim. What is the connection to both Brighton beaches here in the UK and in New York? Can they all pull their unique crime-solving tools to work? Poirot with his little gray cells, Holmes with his uncanny way of solving the toughest crime, and Philip Marlowe, the new guy in the team of famous detectives and sleuths. Miss Marple will her amazing way to pick up clues, even from afar. She calls on loudspeaker and they all get to ask questions. Who and why? And how can they catch him before it's too late? More victims will be attacked and killed. The connection, a red ribbon and a cross. A garrote that killed them. Positioning the bodies near the beach and nearby sites to be found by tourists. How does he, the killer, pick his victims? And what about the crosses? Where were they from and why? They look into each case and find the connection. The cross means something, Miss Marple says. Maybe a priest or a religious fanatic. Poirot says, "My little gray cells are telling me it is a man or a very strong woman to kill this method." "Elementary, my dear Hercule. I admit I came to the same conclusions," Holmes tells them. "But why is the question?" Philip says, "This is all well and good, but how will we catch him or her?" The police are baffled. Miss Marple tells them to keep her in the loop, and she will call them if she thinks of anything on her end. "But we must look into the religious aspect of the case. The cross, I feel something to do with it all." "Sounds good to me," Philip said. "I'll get in touch with my friends here and ask around the churches if anything odd or someone confessed to any crimes. I know they can't say, but I'll give it the good old college try. I'm friendly with most of the priests in the area. Also my friend Brenda and Trey, the ones who found the first victim on Brighton Beach. They'll help out too. They have connections too." They all were working on the case in their unique way. Then a breakthrough. A call from a Russian Orthodox priest, Father Nicholas, from All Saints Church. He knows Trey and Brenda and is willing to help. They all meet with him, and he tells them what he could without crossing the line. This was not from a confessional, but something he noticed a couple times at Mass. A man dressed like a priest, but not one. He remembers him clearly. Very strange, he came up to him and asked very odd questions after Mass. All through the Mass he was watching the young ladies in the congregation. The question was that he told the priest, "Why in this day and age do women flaunt themselves? Such harlots should be taught moral standards. It's a disgrace to dress and act the way they do." And then he left and he never saw him again. Father Nicholas worked with a sketch artist and they came up with the killer's face. It was shown around to each church and all over the neighborhoods. He was recognized by many of the priests from different churches. Hopefully he'll get lazy and careless before he murders again. Holmes says now at least we have a motive. He is taking it upon himself to punish these girls for their behavior. not up to his moral standards of what a lady should be dressed like and act like, but he is sick to kill them in this horrible manner, to choke them to death and poison them. The cross, a symbol of religion. I guess he thinks murder is not a sin. I agree, mon ami, Perrault says. What a monster to take it upon himself to punish these poor girls. It is a modern times, not the Dark Ages. Philip gets a call. They found him. The police used all their new info and from the clues found by the famous detectives, all pulling together to catch this monster. And of course, Miss Marple helped with her religious connection. Her idea was spot on. They put up a sting. The policewoman dressed in modern attire, very provocative, just what the killer looked for. Before he could subdue her and garrote her, she put her police skills to work and turned the tables on him. The other officers in wait helped put him down and capture him, red-handed, with the garrote and the red ribbon and cross in his hand. Screaming as they took him away, I must teach them morals. They are sinners, not me. I do the work of holy. They do the work of the devil. He was the killer in London and moved to New York, but loved living on Brighton Beach, so that's where he ended up. Ivan Mikovic, Brighton Beach, UK. He was there from early childhood. His own mother, Regina, was a loose woman in his eyes, and all women must be cleansed, he said. He had been doing this for years, until now. The famous detectives all gathered together to catch him and put him away. He will serve life here and for all the murders here in the States and in the UK. Case closed. Thanks to Philip Marlowe, Sherlock Holmes, Hercule Poirot, and their associates, Watson and Hastings. And don't forget Miss Marple, retired but still closing cases. She's still sharp as a tack. Brighton Beach murders solved. See what good friends can do when they all work together? I hope you enjoyed this story. Come back for more on Meg's Mysteries. Until next time, enjoy your evening.
Once a week, that's where we'll meet at Meg's Mysteries. Join us if you dare.